has the pandemic meant that you've written more this year, do you think?
Well, I've been a bit naughty in the pandemic because in a way I've been detached from the people that I'd normally be meeting up with and talking to, and of course family as well and things like that. I've done a bit of a naughty thing. I started a couple of years ago a standalone, which is quite different from my police procedurals, my coroner, or my forensic psychiatrist, or even my medical standalones. It's a girl. There's a certain amount of, not so much anger, but she's a bit of a victim, really. And I discussed it with my agent, and she said, oh, yeah, I don't know about that. And everybody was really negative about it, but everybody liked the title, which is The Subsequent Wife. And it's written in the first person. And I thought, oh, blow it, I can do my Joanna Piercy's. I always discuss with my publisher what I'm going to do next. I've towed the line and I want to do something just for me. And there's quite a lot of strop in it, but there's also bits where I'm sort of laughing and thinking, this is so funny, really. And then when I finally licked the manuscript, and I have to say the ending, I had about 12 different endings. And it wasn't until I actually went through on the final one that I got it right. And I think I just added 3 words. And I sent it to my agent. She said, well, it's not a crime novel. She said, but I'm under contract. That's something you might want to touch on because you have wannabe authors out there. I'm under contract that my next title has to be primarily offered to Seven House, who are my publishers. So the rule is that if they refused it, and I was quite prepared for this, I thought, I've written this for me because I wanted to do it. I wanted to stretch the elastic. So my agent sent it, and I just sort of thought, oh, well, I may have to publish it myself. And my publishers absolutely loved it. I mean, they really flipped. They said, gosh, this is a real shock. So it just shows sometimes, to be aware of rules is sometimes to want to break them.
Oh, that's wonderful. So when is that coming out?
That comes out in May. The Subsequent Wife. I've just approved the covers, but I haven't had permission yet to put them on my website or anything. But it is, well, I mean, people will judge it for what it is. They'll either love it or hate it. I suggest it's quite a Marmite book, but whatever. I did it. So so being naughty in lockdown actually suited me very well, because I'd have a chuckle and think, I'd feel quite stroppy about it. Well, I'm going to do it, Whereas normally I'm really quite a compliant person.
Right. Okay.
I am.
Well, the enthusiasm that just filled your face there for this book makes me want to read it. So I should have to watch out for it.
Well, it's the joy of being naughty, isn't it? It's when you know that it's something that that you don't normally do, that you shouldn't probably do, and you think, oh, blow it. I'm staying at home, I'm protecting the NHS, I'm wearing a mask, I'm doing absolutely everything. I'm not meeting up with all my beloveds and everything. I'm being as good as gold. So I've got to be naughty in one way.
Well, I suspect that probably if you've written all of these series, so Martha Gunn and Joanna Piercy and your medical books as well, I suspect that actually you probably need to stretch your wings every now and again and do something different.
Definitely. I mean, series characters are wonderful, and every time I write a Joanna, I'm quite warmed by the way she is, the people that she works with. I mean, that was where, it's quite interesting, that was where a negative review was actually helpful. It was a review on one of the earlier books, and the reviewer had given it like 2 stars or something, and said, so Joanna Piercy works on her own, does she? She seems to go off with Detective Sergeant Mike Korpansky, and there's very little mention of other people. And that was a very useful comment, because of course it isn't like that. There is a vast team to investigate a murder. So sometimes, and those are the sort of reviews, that's why I do read negative reviews, because sometimes they are dropping a little golden crumb and that you think they've got a point here, you know, this is good. Not the ones that slag off the fact that it arrived with a ripped page 3 or something, because that's, you know, going to not be helpful. Or the people who don't like your books. But for those that have got something sensible to say, like my gunshot man, gosh,